USA. So Steve Thornton to get this match underway. Got to forget the nightmare that he had against Tim Mack earlier, Richard. A loss by 76 pins as Mack racked up a four-bagger by halfway. This time though, Thornton bowls first. That's the difference. So Thornton can set the target early, and does with a strike.
This is a great shot from Steve. I really like the shape of this ball on the lane. You see good drive into the pocket. Well, that's just about perfect.
But this fella is called Mack Attack, and if ever a nickname was appropriate, because this fella attacks the lane like no other bowler in this field, knowing that a win here puts his team within touching distance of retaining the Weber Cup. And there's the reply.
Well, an equally good shot from Tim. And balance at the foul line there. Absolutely rock solid.
So 1-1 on the strike count. But Thornton stays very much in his own game, as you said, Richard. He just sits in his chair when his opponent's bowling, doesn't look, just concentrates on what he has to do. What he has to do here is strike, and he does a double.
Well, for me, these are just about the best two shots Steve's made in the tournament. He's really looking good to me there. There's no doubt about this one either.
Well, this is a much better start for Thornton than the first time these two met. As I said, Mack went off on that tear up early on. Thornton started brightly enough but fell away in the middle and latter stages, but he's made a hot start here. And Mack, though, matches fire with fire. He's good when he's leading off. He's just as happy when he's chasing, isn't he?
He's just an all-round good player. He knows how to make shots when the chips are really down, and Steve made the first thrust of the competition there, and Tim's just parried it easily.
So, despite a double, Thornton still can't relax, far from it. But he is bowling beautifully here. With the pressure on, Thornton is rising to the occasion. 3 in a row, Turkey.
He's really laying it down to Tim. He's saying, you are really going to have to be good to beat me this game. Tim's been watching, it won't have escaped his attention just how good those 3 shots were. That's why sometimes it's not advisable to watch your opponent, which is Steve's philosophy.
But if you'd ever back someone to really just step up and match your opponent, it's the former college American football player here, Tim Mack, who was a tenacious linebacker and is an even more tenacious bowler.
Well, this is really high quality stuff. I don't really think you could have faulted any one of the 6 shots that have been made so far.
He just watched it on the replay there and said, yeah, I'm happy with that. So 3-all on the strike count. Can Thornton get a 4-bagger going here? It looks good, and it is. Unbelievable stuff this from Steve Thornton.
Yeah, you watch Steve as he goes back here. This ain't no big thing, this is just a 4-bagger. It's not pumped up. He's staying very, very calm. Some people have to get pumped up to get going, and some people play better when they stay calm.
Absolutely. This fella tends to be of the pumped up variety.
Sure does.
A man with 49 300 games to his credit. And there will be many more to come. He's bowled 18 consecutive strikes in practice on this lane. That's how good he can be. And he's bowled 4 in a row here.
Well, Tim's just buried every single one of his strikes. Steve buried the first 3, but relied a little bit on drive and mix on the 4th.
But when the seeds of doubt start to spring up in the mind, you've bowled 4 strikes in a row and your opponent has matched you, and it just says in your mind, can you keep it going? And no, you can't.
Well, there was a warning sign on the previous shot. Steve was a little bit light on the previous shot. Still plenty good enough to get the strike, which it did. But maybe there was just a sign that the lane was getting a bit faster, and Steve didn't pick that up.
And just getting 7 down, the pin count in a close game, that could be significant. He's got to make sure of this. And does, so no damage done. But Thornton's streak of strikes ends at 4.
Excellent spare from Steve. Absolutely perfect. Just treating that front pin as if it was the head pin in a strike. Pin behind it effectively would then become the 5, even though it was really the 8. It's just absolute perfect.
Now, it's the mark of greatness when your opponent gives you the slightest chance that you step in and take it. What's the betting that Tim Mack puts his 5th strike of the game down the lane right here?
Well, there was no sign that the lane was getting quicker for Tim, so I fancy this one for being right in the pocket. Will he carry though?
You've got to fancy it. You've got to fancy it. And that's unbelievable.
Well, exactly the opposite. If it was getting quicker for Steve, it's getting slower for Tim, or it might just have been a bad shot. He could have been down on pace or inside at his target.
And look at the pin count as well, Richard. Just 6 with 4 left standing, and he's left himself a really nasty spare.
Yes, Tim will be trying to flick the 3 pin across the lane to the 7. I mean, he's hitting it very thin. Requires great accuracy, this spare.
Very big spare ball this for Tim Mack. Achievable but tough. It's on its way. He didn't get the break. He was a little bit unfortunate.
Tim was very close there, but as I said earlier, it does require great accuracy, and he was just a little bit too heavy on the front pin. Sending it.
Oh, an open frame from Tim Mack. Now, if Thornton can just ram home this advantage, but you just sense the need for a small adjustment here, Richard, I think. Let's see if Thornton can find that adjustment. Well, he hasn't. Quite the opposite. The lane is changing, and these fellas haven't changed with it. And it's a horrible pin count again.
Yes, that 6 count's going to hurt him if Tim can find a double. He He's still ahead in the game. It hasn't hurt him in that respect, but
An open frame here would, though.
certainly would. We haven't seen too many washouts in this tournament. It might only be about the second. I think Gary Verbruggen left one, but
The washout being the head pin is missed. And he missed it twice. If looks could kill, that head pin would be a pile of ash.
so Tim hands the initiative to Steve, and then Steve just hands it straight back.
You don't often see the head pin missed twice, Richard. Not at this level. Well, you knew that was coming.
Well done, Tim. If he made an adjustment, it was absolutely perfect. And if he'd made a bad shot the previous frame, he put it out of his mind and came out with a good one this time, so Thornton has to respond now.
After that very poor frame, the first shot was bad. The spare ball was probably even worse. Now, can he get back into the strike zone? That looks a lot better, and it is. So he's still in there, still hanging around.
Yes, just the 3 pins in it, but he's bowled one more frame than Tim. If Tim doubles here, he can take a big lead for the first time in the match. Till now it's really been nip and tuck. Tim can make a move at just the right time.
Yes, there's the double. That's the double that puts Mack in control of this match.
Now you see the importance of those bad counts of Steve's. 7 and 6 in consecutive frames. Tim is now leading by 13 pins, which means that Steve has to find a turkey to get back into the lead. If he hadn't had those bad counts, he'd only have to find a double.
Well, he started with a 4-bagger, Thornton. There's a double. He's come out of his slump.
Well, this is good bowling from Steve. He hasn't let those bad shots, or maybe bad reactions, upset him. Come back fighting with a double. He needed it badly. The last 2 shots of this man have been ominously good.
Yes, they have. After that open frame, he's regrouped. Now this will be turkey for Mack. And you kind of knew that was coming.
Well, Tim's playing the clown again, but he's still only 13 pins in front. I don't think it's time to be clowning around just yet.
13 pins the margin. It will be enough, though, to put Team USA within 1 win of retaining the Weber Cup.
Too tight.
Heavy on the head pin, only got very lucky. That could have been game over.
Steve missing his target to the left here. Probably by 1 or 2 boards. Very lucky that there wasn't a pin on the left. An easy spare, but he really needed a turkey there to keep the pressure on Tim.
Because now he needs Mack to leave an open frame. And the way Mack is bowling, you've got more chance of snow in summertime. Left the 10. He's left the 10. So just a little glimmer of a chance here for Thornton. But he spares so well, Mack, you know he's going to get it. But the second attempt, he almost got it here. Just didn't get the break. The messenger just carrying across, but not into the pin. It's a 14-pin game going into frame 10. But Thornton at least needs a double.
He has to stand any chance. Even then, he's praying for a bad count from Tim.
So many of these matches won and lost right here in frame 10. That is not what he needed at all. It's a bit like his last game with Tim Mack, a bright start but then just fading away. It's a better game from Thornton, but again Mack has found yet another gear, as he does so often when you're playing him. He's so frustrating to play against, because he will match you and better you. But 218 is the best that Steve Thornton can finish with, and I don't think that is going to be good enough by a long way. Mack is already on 203. It is. But he hasn't even really set Mack any kind of target at all. Mack needs 6 pins to win. Frankly, a 10-year-old child would get that. In fact, Tim might want to send a 10-year-old out there to do it for him. No, he's going to do it himself.
I'm not sure the match referee would have allowed that.
Oh, he's a stickler for the rules, is Bernie White. You're quite right. 6 for victory. The safest bet you'll ever make. How Mack always finds this extra notch to his game amazes me.
Well, it's the mark of a champion.
When you consider Steve Thornton came out with 4 strikes in a row, only for Mack to match him step for step. And it was ominous even then for Steve, wasn't it? You've got to put this fella away. And Steve did nothing wrong early on, he just couldn't do it.
Yep, I think the measure of the fact that he's won on every continent bar one, and that's Antarctica, and until they build a bowl there, he's not going to win there.
No, I wouldn't put it past him to shoot a few balls down the ice. And a few penguins.
You can bet your bottom dollar if they build one there, it'll be going and playing.
Yeah, a strikeout to finish. And a 2:43 finish. Commiserations to Steve Thornton, but another impressive win for the United States, led from the front by their captain, Tim Mack. 2-4-3, placed 2-1-8. Team USA now one win away from retaining the Weber Cup.